Hi guys, happy Wednesday. We have made it through the year. You made it through 5th grade, even with all this craziness going on. And we're about to make it through a book. For anyone that is stuck along, please comment on this post so I can see. I know not all of you read it with me, but that's okay. As long as, one or two, I'm happy with that. I really liked this book and it was nice for me to kind of read it to you guys, for anyone that wanted to hop on and listen to. Okay, chapter 50, A Hero's Job. Oh, also at the end there is a little surprise that I get to show you. So stay tuned till the end if you want to see something cool. Okay, chapter 50, A Hero's Job. Keisha, Albert, and I take our time walking home. A voice behind us calls, "Hey Brain, wait up." We all turn around and I hear Albert mumble, "Oh no." I've never actually seen anyone turn white before, but he does it. I look back at those three boys who are all running towards us. Albert is jumpy like he's gonna run too, and I know that they must be the kids that beat on him all the time. I wish Travis were here. "Who are they?" Keisha asks. Albert swallows hard. "Hey Brain," the one closest says. "Are these your girlfriends?" he asks. The group laughs. The one in the back says, "Yeah, right, like that dweeb would have a girlfriend. He'd be lucky to have a pet bird." They laugh harder. Keisha steps forward. "Why don't you just get lost?" "Don't think so. I'm right where I'm supposed to be." He turns and shoves Albert. "Hey, Brain, did you miss me?" "Like a dog misses a flea," Albert mumbles, his eyes glued to the ground. I wish he'd at least look at the kid. Keisha's voice gets louder. "Yeah, like a little flea. Now get lost before someone slaps you." And before I can even start worrying about her, the boy grabs her arm and pushes her on the ground. Slaps me? I don't think so. "Hey," Albert says, "you leave her alone." The boy turns to Albert. "Shut up, Brain, or you're next." The second boy picks up Keisha's bag. "What do you have in here?" and turns it upside down, dumping everything out. "Look," the third says, "a book with sweet little cupcakes." "No," Keisha says, "give me the book back." Albert is shaking, actually shaking. "Hey," I say, "you leave us alone." And when the kid turns around into my eyes, I'm really scared, like I'm going to throw up. Keisha tries to get up, but the boy pushes her back down. He moves his foot to step on her, but doesn't get the chance. Albert, peace-loving, I will never stoop to their level. Albert pulls the boy away from Keisha. He turns him around and holds him by the front of his coat. The boy's toes barely touch the ground. "You do not touch her again," Albert says with a voice I don't think he had. Keisha jumps and runs over to me. She stands next to me, squeezing my arm hard. "I'm tired of you beating on me all the time. You have no right to treat me like that, and you don't even fight one-on-one. You gang up on me like cowards." Albert throws him to the ground, tosses him like he doesn't weigh anything. The two other boys charge, but Albert grabs one of them and throws him on top of the first kid. Boy 3 runs. The first boy stands up. "You want to fight, Brain? I'll fight you." He charges Albert and Albert hits him in the stomach. I've never seen Albert mad before, and he hits the kid one time and the kid goes down. Through his moans, he tells his friends to get up and fight, to get Albert for him. The second boy sits up like he's thinking about it. Albert's feet are far apart. He leans forward. "Do you really think you want to do that?" The boy shakes his head. Albert takes a step towards both boys on the ground. "Don't you ever touch my friends, ever, or you'll answer to me." Keisha and I gather her stuff and put it in her bag. "Come on," Albert says, looking at us before turning to walk away. We follow him. I'm surprised that Keisha is quiet for as long as she is, and I feel like I'm gonna cry, thinking about how Albert has come to school every day with those bruises for all this time. He always asked him what it would take for him to fight back. Turns out it was protecting us. "Albert," Keisha says, "that was amazing, and you can fight." I can't take credit for strong arms, but I say, "It wasn't just your arms, Albert. You were brave back there. Seriously." "Yep, that's true," Keisha says, and then she laughs. "So, Albert, what's gotten into you anyways?" "My dad has always said that violence is something to avoid at all costs," Albert says, "but he also says that you never hit a girl, and so I had to weigh the two. And then he stops walking and he's wide-eyed looking at me. and he gives me a chill the way he does. But really, he says, it just made everything hurt inside to watch them hurt you two, and I would have done anything in the universe to stop it. Aww. When we arrive at AC Peterson's, Keisha is still acting out what Albert has done. He never says anything, but he seems quietly happier, a bit taller. After sliding into the booth, I take out my social studies book. Seriously? You're gonna do homework after that? I have a lot to do. I thought Mr. Daniels said you only have to do half the questions. He did, but I want to try to do all of them. I don't want to get off easy. I figured out that if I look at the first 2 letters and the last 2 letters of the word, I can sometimes figure out the rest from the sentence. This trick I've discovered Mr. Daniels said makes me a genius. What is wrong with you? Are you serious? Keisha asked. Yeah, I know. First, I don't want to do work, and now I want to do extra. You are a mystery, she says. That's for sure. Huh? Albert says. That reminds me of our president, Teddy Roosevelt. He went on a hunting trip and found out that one of his companions tied a bear to a tree for him so it would be easier to shoot. He refused to shoot the bear and set it free. In fact, that's why teddy bears are called Teddy, after that president that day. Keisha shakes her head. Man, you've got a story for everything, Albert. I do not provide stories. History does. You know, Albert, you kind of talk like those guys who narrate movies from school, from the History Channel and stuff. Why, thank you, Keisha. Based on Keisha's explanation, I'm not sure it was a compliment exactly. I lean forward and look at Albert. You know what else is a tremendous achievement? What? Sticking up for your friends against guys that have used you as punching bags for months. You wailed on them, didn't you, Albert? You should get a medal or something. Albert sits a bit straighter. Well, it was just one thing I did on one day. He turns to me. Not like you, Allie. Huh? When Mr. Daniels told us about people with dyslexia, some of the greatest minds in human races has ever seen, I've been kind of wishing I could have it too. Did he really just say that? Keisha laughs. Sometimes, Albert, I thought you have nothing but facts stuck up in your head, but then you do what you did today and say something like that, and you know what you are? His eyebrows jump. Keisha leans forward. You are one good friend, Albert. All right, chapter 51, our last chapter. This is called Courageous Genius. I asked Mr. Daniels if I could renew my book at the library, and he smiles like I gave him a cake. Sure, he says, and he hands me an envelope. Since you're heading over that way, will you give this to Miss Silver for me? Sure. And you have to hand it to her, though, and you have to wait until she opens it and writes a response and then returns it to me, okay? I nod, thinking back to the day when a visit to the office meant trouble. I renew my book and then head to the office. Miss Silver is there and I walk in. She smiles. Hey there, Allie. I hold out the envelope even before I start talking. I guess I want her to know right away that I'm not in trouble. I have a message from Mr. Daniels. She holds up a finger and tells me to wait 1 minute while she speaks with her daughter and picks up the phone. I mean to listen on their conversation, but something else captures my attention. The poster with the 2 hands reaching for each other, the one I was asked to read but couldn't. I walk over and stand in front of it. I stare at the outstretched fingers, and then I take a deep breath and look at the letters. I step right up to the wall just like Mr. Daniels taught me. I use the envelope in my hand as a marker under the first line. I whisper, some things. Miss Silver comes and stands behind me. She puts her hands on my shoulder. I stop reading. No, Allie, keep going. I turn my head to look up at her. Can you just read it to me so I can hear it all at once? Miss Silver reads, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help. C. Connors. Wow, that was the quote from the beginning that she could read. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help. Ooh, cool quote. I like that. Allie, she asks. I turn. Her voice cracks. I want you to know how sorry I am about the bumpy road we've had for a while. I'm so proud of you and all the strides you're making, all the hard work you're doing. We should have picked up on your learning differences before, but you were so bright and well, I hope you'll give me another chance to help. I nod, looking over at the poster, and I think about how I should have asked for help, but at the time it took more bravery than I had, I guess. Hey, she says, didn't you have a letter for me? Yeah, Mr. Daniel says you're supposed to read it before I leave. She opens the envelope and reads it and walks over to her desk. She laughs and turns towards me. Did he tell you what this says? I shake my head. It says, the student delivering this note is our student of the month for hard work and a good attitude. Me? I ask. Are you sure this isn't a mistake? She laughs. My brother Travis will never believe this, I tell her, but in my heart I know he will. He'll be happy for me and mess with my hair and say, good going, Al. She writes a note for Mr. Daniels and hands it to me. I leave the office and I am told I leave the office and I am told right away to stop running by a teacher, so I do. But it's so hard not to run and jump and yell. Mr. Daniels smiles at me as soon as I turn the corner into the room, and I half run over to his desk. So, you got the message? He asks. I nod. With a hand on my shoulder, he says, Attention, Fantasticos! I would like to announce that our student of the month is our own Allie Nickerson. Oliver slaps his desk while others applaud, even Jessica. Shay says something I can't hear exactly, but I do hear Jessica tell her to stop. Albert and Keisha come over. Albert with a high five and Keisha with a hug. Wow, you were going to talk to us little people when you win your next award. If you bake for me, I joke. Wait, Albert says, will you bake for me if I win something? Keisha and I laugh while Albert says, no, I'm serious. Keisha pats him on the shoulder. Yes, Albert, I'll bake something for you. When we begin collecting our things to go home. Travis is picking me up because I have to bring back my project. I get my stuff and head to the gym to wait. Soon Travis walks in, still wearing his clothes from the garage. The sun from outside is behind him like he's walking out of the ball of light, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm gonna cry. It makes sense. Everything does. Travis is smart in the same ways that I am. I run up to him, put my project down on the floor, and throw up my arms around him. Pretty happy to avoid the school bus, huh? He laughs. I'm just really happy to see you, that's all. And I hug him one more time, but tighter. His face questions me. Wait a second, I say. I'll be right back. And I turn and run before he can answer. I run because I just have to. This can't wait until tomorrow. I sprint down the hall, ignoring something far behind me, telling me to slow down. I approach my classroom, grab the door frame, and swing into the door, out of breath. Mr. Daniels looks up from his work, surprised. Allie? I step to the side of his desk, and I reach into my pocket and pull out that torn piece of paper that says possible. You're still carrying that? He asks, and smiles big. Please, Mr. Daniels, I tell him. You have to help. I'll do anything. He stands. What's wrong, Allie? Please help my brother. I take a step forward. He needs to learn to read too. I think of the poster in Mrs. Silver's office, Mr. Daniels' hand reaching out for mine, and mine reaching for Travis. Of course, Allie, I'm happy to help. Your brother is picking you up today, right? I nod, feeling so grateful for Mr. Daniels, and I wonder if he knows that I came into 6th grade wondering what would ever become of me. Now I have dreams I know I'll chase down. I'll set the world on fire someday and come back here and tell him so. Okay, he says, you go ahead and I'll be down in a minute to talk with him about what we can do. I run from the room but slow down, thinking, aware of every step. Eventually I'm back at the gym, back to my big brother who stood by me and helped me always, who's believed in me no matter what I said. Travis is standing there with his hands in his pockets, looking up at the light streaming through those windows across the top of the gym. I watch him for a while. Finally, he sees me and smiles. I hand him the tattered piece of paper that says possible. Here, this belongs to you now. He looks confused. For me? Mr. Daniels isn't far behind me. He shakes Travis's hand. Hello there, Travis. I've heard a lot about you. He looks down at me. Quite a little sister you have. Travis half smiles. Yeah, she is. So, Mr. Daniels says, apparently Allie thinks we should talk. Okay, he says, brushing his chin with his knuckles. Mr. Daniels explains to him what we do after school and invites him to join us. I look up. Travis swallows hard and nods. I knew Travis would be brave enough to say yes. A mind movie lights up in my head of our last name written in neon lights in the window of Travis's new place. And there's another mind movie of me being happy, reading and making my art, and finally finding a special Allie-shaped place in this world. But these mind movies won't go into my sketchbook of impossible things because I know they will actually happen. I lean my back against my big brother and feel his hand on my shoulders. Their voices seem to fade as I look up at that light streaming through the windows. Things are going to be different. It's like birds can swim and fish can fly. Impossible to possible. Oh, that was so cute. I love that. Okay, so there's one thing in the back of the book that I wanted to show you. Okay, so I know it's backwards, but it says the Sketchbook of Impossible Things. So on the back, the author wrote out these things. Yeah, so the author that wrote this drew these things. So I'm just going to show you some of them. So we have this one. This looks like, remember she was talking about going to school was like being in a prison. This is that. This one is Nickerson's Auto Shop. So she drew it of them in lights. This is I like this one the best. This is a fish trying to climb the tree. Fish in a tree. This is a picture of, I think that's all of her friends, Albert, Keisha, flying to the moon. This looks like a turtle trying to do something. I don't know that one. These are two penguins playing basketball. This is a snake playing the violin. Ooh, this is an elephant knitting. This is, I think, remember when Allie was saying how she was looking at the pieces as each one? I think this is Shay. Shay's the little chess piece, and I believe that's Allie. This one, it looks like she has fire all around her. This one is a bird. Oh, it's a fish with wings, is this one. Okay, this is it's a bird underwater. These are bubbles. This is her like succeeding. This might be her like student of the month saying like woohoo. Or no, that was class president. She felt like she was on a podium. So that's what she drew. This is a volcano with the dinosaurs and the asteroid. This is a car with a hot air balloon. Few more. This is she feels like she was like a cow. She's dressed up as a cow. This is a book that looks like a monster. What is that? Looks like a fish with hair in a bowl. Looks like she's covered in honey on an anthill. She's got alphabet soup. This one, she's playing hockey with cats. What's this one? I'm not sure what that one is. I don't know. This one, it looks like she's like looking at these blocks of letters, so confused. She's like walking down them. And that's the last one. Okay. What a cute book. Thank you all for sticking along this journey. I'm glad I was able to read it for my very first time with you guys. So again, if you stuck along, comment, tell me how you liked it, if you liked it, if you hated it, whatever. I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully, please come back and visit. Let me know if you ever need anything. Bye, guys.